Death is coming and everything is temporary. There's a good start for you. Death is coming and everything's temporary. You can't take everything with you. You can't take everything with you. All your art and your music and your books, you can't take it. You know, all of your money and your house, all your stuff, you can't take it with you. Your prized possessions, you can't take it with you. The thing your mother gave you that you refuse, this little thing, or the 3 little things that sit on my desk that my mother said, here, take this. You want this? Take this. Is going to be left here. It's going to be left here when I leave this body. It's going to be left here. And someone will either use it or throw it away. Someone will either find it a treasure or it'll end up in the trash. It'll either be remembered or forgotten. All of it's temporary. Death is coming and everything's temporary. That's the message today. And death is going to, I'm glad you're all laughing. Most people don't even want to consider that they're going to die. Most people don't even want to talk about it. In fact, my mother, I think I maybe told you this before. My mother is 88. She was at church one time and she was talking to this woman about, will you sing at my funeral? Somebody overheard her and said, Mary Ann, what are you talking about your funeral for? My mom was like, I'm going to be 89. How much longer do I have? You know, it's going to happen. And I want this person to sing. Like, what's wrong with that? So y'all laughing about death, you need to remember that you laughed about it today. But death is going to do that with each of us. And the question is, though, when I was pondering this week, when it came up for me, is, so how does that inform me? How does that fact that we all know is the truth, how does it inform my life? How does it guide my life? What do I do with that? What do I do with that? That's the question. And the first thing that comes up with me is, you know, it's important to live life consciously. Like, don't just, like, why would we just go along to get along? Or why would we just go with the flow? Or go with the crowd? Like, why do we do that? What about, it calls me, thinking about, yes, death is coming and everything is temporary. It's like, what am I going to do with this right in front of me? You know, that's the question. What is that about? Let me live consciously. Let me decide with great care how I am living and what I am living. Great care, because time's up soon. Like, time's up soon. Sooner than it was yesterday. It's sooner, not later. It's like, what do you want to be? Who do you want to be? How do you want to be? Who do you want to spend it with? What's your passion? Have you thought of these questions recently? Yes. I don't care how old you are. Say, well, I'm already this, I've already... No, you haven't. You're still alive. What is it? What is it about that? To think about those questions in your life. Are you bored and restless? Well, why are you wasting your life on that? Choose something else. Choose something else, or maybe sit long enough to know what that choice is. But live consciously from it. Like, I think really death tells me it's time to live with more joy. It's time to notice more joy. I came in today and I was getting the flowers ready for my little altar. I just find these outside, by the way. It brings me joy. It brings me joy. Most of them would call these weeds. Aren't they beautiful? I let nature bring them to me. I just went out back and we were walking around. And I said to David, who does the maintenance here, I said, I want all those little dandelions like this. He said, I think I weed whacked them all down yesterday. I found one. I'm like, this is so beautiful to me. These were all out there in that garden. It looks great. It doesn't look very green. It doesn't look that. This brings me joy. This brings me joy. I found out from David that this is the flower from clover that the gentleman planted in his garden that will be plowed under this year to give more nitrogen to his soil for his plants this year. There it is. It's beautiful. More joy. This is how I want to live. This is the conscious choice I want to make. I didn't have to go to the flower shop, floral, or Harris Teeter, or Trader Joe's, or anywhere else. Right there it is. And there's a bunch of mint in the bottom, so it smelled good while I was doing it. Yeah, how about that? Like, that's what death is teaching me this week. is to look at life and find the joy. Even one dandelion. Dandelion, he said. I'm like, dandelion. They're yellow. They're my favorite color. They're everywhere. I love them. I love them. You know, death doesn't take you till it takes you. So what are you going to do in the meantime? Are you going to wait to die or are you going to live? I mean, those are the choices, right? You can wait to die or you can live. There's one way to cheat death. There's only one way to cheat death, and that's to live the best life you can live. To live the best life you can live. There's one revenge you can get with death, and that's to go out blazing. Right? To be all you can be the whole way you can be it. That. To live with your eyes open, to be conscious, to consciously be living. To consciously be living, to looking. You want to see more beauty? Me, I look for dandelions. You know, like, yes, that. To consciously live my life. Because death is coming and everything's temporary. That's the truth. What else did I learn? Here's what I learned this week is learn to trust your inner guidance. Learn to trust your inner self. Learn to trust from the inside. Don't be looking for what anybody else. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says. It doesn't matter. It's your life. Like, trust your intuition. We all have it. We just need to have the space so we can know what it is. Right? We need to know create that space for that. Practice being still. And here's the thing. Name how it makes you feel. We don't do that. Well, it feels like. If you're using like in front of after feel, it's not a feeling. It's not a feeling. Name how it feels. Like, does this decision, does it produce the feeling that I want? Pam is a great example. A couple weeks ago, she called me and said, I'm not going to be at Soul Center this week. She's got the auction going on. She's got tickets. She's got tasks out like this. She said, you know what? I need some rest. I feel exhausted. I said, oh my God, thank you for making that decision. To trust your instinct to say, it's time for me to sit down. To have a whole weekend of not being at Soul Center, of not, hey, did you notice there wasn't much on Facebook? Pam took a break. All right? Like, yeah, like do what it is for you to do. To name the feeling, exhaustion, and then to make a choice to be with that. And to make the choice that helps you with that, right? To be there, to make that choice. There's a whole list of feelings. Hoffman has like pages and pages of feelings. You think there's only a few feelings? Like there's pages and pages and pages of feelings. We don't know how to name them for ourselves. And if we don't know how to name them, we don't know if they're good for us at the time, if they are congruent with what's happening. Certainly when we lost our poor May cat, we were sad. I can name sadness about that. It was a congruent feeling. I wasn't running from it. It was sad. We were sad for a while. And then we started remembering the love and remembering how some of her antics and how she would caterwaul in the house at 2 a.m. You're like, hey, what do you want? You know, all the things. And then you remember the love. And then we were feeling differently about it. I still miss her, but not in the same way. I think now it's something else, right? To recognize it and name those things. Like, I want to name those things. I want death to teach me to just name my feelings and to be okay with those feelings. And if I'm not okay with what it is, to work toward changing what that is. To work in that direction. Lots of feelings, lots of feelings. Trust from the inside. Trust those things. You know, you call them gut reactions. You call them intuition. You call them those different things. Trust them. Learn to trust yourself. Death is teaching me. Trust your own intuition. Trust yourself. Trust yourself. So what else is that? I think the reason that we don't trust ourselves is that we think we deserve to have a good life. Deep down, I think maybe we think, well, you know, maybe the good life isn't just for me. Maybe I'm just meant for this or that or the other thing. Maybe I don't deserve it. What death is teaching me, damn it, yes, I do deserve it. I do deserve it. Here's an example. So a little while ago, Olivia comes over to our house. She lives real close by, and she brings us this cocktail napkin because it has a funny saying on it. And it says this: You smell... You smell like alcohol and bad decisions. Come sit by me. Come sit by me. You smell like alcohol and bad decisions. And that's what we do. We know it's a bad decision. We know it's not good. But what do? Invite it right here. We invite those things right beside us. You'll remember that one. I did. We got rid of the napkin. I don't know why. You smell of alcohol and bad decisions. Come sit beside me. All right? We say we deserve a good life, and yet we make those things, we make that happen. Like, why? Why would we do that? Why would we do that? Maybe we think we don't deserve that. That's the best we deserve. That's the best we deserve. I say, not so much. To give Olivia, to bring it around so you don't think she's a heathen. Or she spent all night last night in a bar somewhere. She also gave me this card because she knows I love the crow from Flying Edna. Here's the other way we could be. Has this crow here. I love the crow. Her entire life led her to the moment when she said, "This is the life I want." And she never again wasted time on a life that was not that. Like, what about that? Instead of, oh, alcohol, milk, come on. What about this right here? This is what death is calling me to do. My death, I'll modify this. Death said to me, you know what? Live the life you want. And if you do, you will never waste time on any life that is not that. Right? Never would you waste it. Because death is coming and everything's temporary. So this, not alcohol and bad decisions. This, crow or cocktail napkin? That's the question. Crow or cocktail napkin? That's what came to me. It's pretty simple. I can have that choice. So I'm glad y'all are a little lighthearted about this topic. I thought, oh my God. I even said to Renee I was going to wear this black shirt. She was like, she said, no, probably not today. Probably not today. I said, I'm talking about death. How about this shirt? She's like, no. But there's one more thing. There's one more thing that I came to me this week when I was thinking about this, and that is, you know, this life we live, this individual life we live, is not really an individual life at all. It's really not. We think it is, and I'm encouraging death to teach me these things, but we don't live it for ourselves alone. We don't live our life for ourselves alone. So our best life is lived in service to others. Our best life is lived in service to others. I want you not to forget that, because our individual life really isn't our individual life at all. It can't be contained in this skin. It can't be contained in this body. It cannot be contained. The whole that we live in needs us. The whole of life needs us, and it needs our best self. It needs the one that's motivated by death, not discouraged by death and temporary, but to be motivated by death. Because I decided that that there is one thing that is eternal, and that is your soul. And the other thing that I decided is eternal is what you leave in the hearts of other people, what you leave in the children, what you leave in your families, what you leave in your friends. What you leave is the energy of yourself. Like, that is eternal. The rest of it's temporary. But that, my friends, I believe is eternal. People will feel you when you're gone. When you live the life that inspired by death, people will not forget you. What did Maya Angelou say? People will forget what you did and they'll forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. Never will they forget that. That energy is powerful. That energy is powerful. That is what is eternal. This body, not eternal. The energy with which you live it, inspired by death, to be a conscious liver. Live, well, that didn't sound to consciously live, woo, liver.
Right?
Oh, y'all are gonna let me forget that. Oh my. Yeah. What you leave in the hearts of other people is what will remain. That's how important your life is. That's how important it is to be inspired by this. That death is coming, and everything is temporary. And to not be distracted by the baubles and the tinsel, and not be distracted by the people wanting you to go places that you don't want to go, that you know here, it's like, no, that's not mine. That's not mine. Don't do it. Don't think it. Don't go there. Let death give you the courage to be who you're here to be. And time is short. Time is short. We all think, we don't like to think time is short, my friends. Time is short. Like, I want to live urgently. I want to share myself urgently to the highest and best that I can share it. To the highest and best that I can share it. Because death is coming, and everything, it's temporary, except your heart, except how you make people feel, except how you create kindness and empathy and compassion in the world. That's my message today. Yeah? Yeah. So as we go into meditation, I want to read this poem from Mary Oliver. It's called When Death Comes. So I invite you to take a deep breath. I know I need one after that. To take a deep breath and to settle into this. How great it is to have some humor and to have some lightheartedness when we talk about death, when we talk about the temporary nature that we are. Knowing that our fullness and our eternal nature is forever. It is eternal. So here are the words of Mary Oliver. When death comes like a hungry bear in autumn, when death comes and takes all the bright coins from his purse to buy me and snaps the purse shut, when death comes like the measles pox, when death comes like an iceberg between the shoulder blades, I want to step through the door full of curiosity, wondering, what is it going to be like, that cottage of darkness? And therefore, I look upon everything as a brotherhood and a sisterhood. And I look upon time as no more than an idea. And I consider eternity as another possibility. And I think of each life as a flower, as common as a field daisy and as singular. And each name, a comfortable music in the mouth, tending as all music does toward silence. And each body, a lion of courage, and something precious to the earth. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Deep breath in and out for a few moments in stillness. When it's over, I want to say, all my life I was a bride married to amazement. I was the bridegroom taking the world into my arms. When it's over, I don't want to wonder if I have made of my life something particular and real. I don't want to find myself sighing and frightened or full of argument. I don't want to end up simply having visited this world. Amen.